Well, greetings. I wanted to expand upon something that I talked about recently in another video concerning pattern breaking exercises. And by way of review for those who saw that, and by way of explanation for those who did not, pragmatic esotericism or practical esotericism should seek and does seek to make changes and transformations in small, everyday, very accessible kinds of things, even in seemingly mundane things like the way that one speaks, because the way one speaks derives from the language that one speaks in. And the thinking that one does relies on the language that one thinks in, or that one uses. And so a great way to change things and to change perspectives involves those everyday things. Now, we often find ourselves in sort of an autopilot mode or a waking sleepfulness mode. We go about our daily actions, but we may find that we have functioned much of the time with very little deliberate, decisive, attentive thought. We just go through the motions because we do the same things day in and day out all the time. And so we can just go into that autopilot mode and not really concern ourselves. And we don't really want that because we become more susceptible to things, susceptible to the input of others, advertisers and politicians and people that would take our attention and use it to their own ends. So we do ourselves a favor by breaking ourselves out of that sort of autopilot mode. And one way that we can do that involves decidedly changing something that we do regularly. We talk a lot. We sometimes write a lot or text a lot. We don't have to write with pen and paper, but we communicate by way of our language. Now, as an English speaker, I presume, since I don't have this in other languages, I presume that people listening to this primarily speak English as a primary or a secondary language. You likely often, without thinking about it, use contractions in your speech and or writing. Contractions meaning the shortening of spoken or written phrases or words. Don't, can't, shouldn't, won't. Those words with the apostrophe in the middle. Now, to break that pattern and to wake yourself up throughout the day, you might consider rephrasing things, catching yourself as you speak or as you write, or find yourselves wanting to use those contracted words, instead using the full words. So instead of don't, we might say do not, cannot for can't, should not for shouldn't, will not or won't, for won't rather, and so on. What this does then is that breaks your pattern, and that breaking of the pattern allows you to take a bit more conscious control of your smaller day-to-day things, but we know, of course, as above, so below, as below, so above. As we take charge of those little things, then we can take charge of bigger things. And building that habit, or building those kinds of small habits, helps in that regard. Now, just like with E prime, like we talked about in a previous video, This will likely take some time as an adjustment, and you'll probably fail periodically, particularly as you start out in such a practice or any of your pattern-breaking exercises. But if you catch it and it strengthens your resolve, then you haven't failed. You've learned something. Remember, you either win or learn. And if you consider learning winning, you either win or win. Catch your mistakes, learn from them, do better next time, build incrementally on your progress, and you'll see things become more natural for you, and find yourself able to move on to still further pattern-breaking exercises, because these give you an opportunity to take a little bit of sovereignty for yourself in even the small things. With that, I wish you the best, and good luck.